Peace, infinite waters, diving deep once again. Let's talk about worrying, fear, emotions. There are so many of us out there who are suffering from panic attacks, anxiety, but we are too embarrassed to talk about it. And I used to get panic attacks on the train, and it wasn't fun. Thank goodness those days are over. But what helped me in freeing myself of anxiety was knowing more about the 3 types of anxiety in the universe. Actually, there's probably more than that because the universe is so gigantic, right? The first type of worrying is our personal worries. This is how we see ourselves. The body image. Does my butt look big in this? Are my muscles big enough? Is my hair done the right way? The amount of money I've spent at barbers. Wow, if I got a refund, I would be a billionaire. That caused a lot of anxiety for me in the appearance section when people always used to tell me, dress well, make sure your hair is done in a certain way, make sure you have the perfect figure. So a lot of this personal anxiety is all about how we see ourselves. When we don't have a positive perception of ourselves, that's where the anxiety comes from. That's the trigger for our panic attacks. And the solution I found was, it starts with self-love. And in a practical way, the moment I started incorporating more plant-based foods in my life, I was a completely different person. I felt calmer. So if you experience a lot of panic attacks, just by incorporating more leafy greens, you are going to see a massive difference. By drinking more fresh mountain spring water instead of soda and drinks full of caffeine, you are going to see a massive difference. What I found was that when I was going through these panic attacks, and it's not fun, it was because I was having an out-of-body experience. No, this is not paranormal activity. I wasn't breathing. I wasn't consciously aware I was breathing. We get frozen when we are having these bouts of anxiety. And what I found was that just by being more conscious when you are breathing, having that mindfulness, to feel the air going in and out of your nostrils, it's like a mini orgasm. You're going to feel calmer instantly. And by feeling that pulse, automatically all the anxiety disappears. But many of us, we are attempting to get out of the present moment. So what I realize is that it starts with changing your thoughts. Many times it's not about changing your thoughts. It's about accepting your thoughts. That's what I realize, because we are all striving to become somebody in this massive world. And this is what creates our anxiety. The moment I started to accept my thoughts, the negative thoughts, the positive thoughts, you just say, who cares? And I felt so much freedom. Also, it's all about the words that we are using towards ourselves. Some people say, I am going to have these panic attacks for the rest of my life. Wow. I realized the moment I said, this stops today, that is a command. Now, the anxiety started to go away in a very gradual, smooth process. It's not going to happen overnight. But once you start using words like I will, then you're going to see the results. The secondary worries we have are the external worries. What family, friends, what they think of us. Because much of the anxiety we have is emanating from our desire to control the external world. So, peer pressure. Most of our anxiety comes from our childhood. It comes from school years when we were attempting to live up to society's expectations, but more so our own expectations. The solution for the secondary worries I found is that we have to start letting go of perfection. Make mistakes, even on purpose, and you will feel calmer inside, because many of us, we give ourselves such a hard time because it's never good enough. And in the process, we are affecting the blood chemistry within our body. Our panic attacks and anxiety attacks are part of our subconscious programming. So the more we do something that triggers it, the more it's reinforced. The solution I found was that it's all based around our habits. So, for instance, I used to get anxiety attacks a long time ago on the train, and I used to observe what I was doing with my body. I was very hunched over. I was contracting. The moment I moved into a power pose, now I feel powerful, because the body is the subconscious mind. So automatically, emotionally and mentally, I felt calmer. The workplace. Uh-oh. I hope your boss is not watching this. Are you in love with your job? Because many of us, we have panic attacks and anxiety just before work. We dread going into work. That was me. I used to have cold sweats, wake up and say, what's going on? The moment I started to do what I loved, automatically the panic attacks disappeared and the anxiety disappeared. And that all involves following your true passion. For what it's worth, this is it. That's what I realized. It's now or never. And that mindset carries you places. When we don't feel like a victim, That's when we start to free ourselves from anxiety. And the third type of worrying is what I call world worrying. About the government, about the situation with the monetary system, things out of our control. Yes, the state of the world is one which needs immediate attention. What's going on? But what I realize is that we can talk of world suffering. Many of us, we turn on the news and we are bombarded with so many stories, it's overwhelming. This can cause anxiety and panic attacks. So what I did along my journey was start to change what I'm tuning into every single day to make it uplift my spirit. And that's how I started to free myself and become the greatest version of myself. There is suffering in the world, but the only way to solve this is to start realizing you are the world. Because if you are watching fearful images, now you are becoming fearful. Now you are a match to that vibration. So you only help magnify the world suffering. The way to start healing the world is to become the change. Be within yourself the type of world you want to see out there. Now we are creating positive change within the world without being a match to the negative images we are seeing. In essence, we are becoming alchemists. And there you have it. I just can see that there's no time for panic attacks. It takes too long. But having fun is a great way, and more so accepting yourself. I was so nervous just making even my first video. But what I realized is that the more you do it, you are now facing your fear until fear bows down to you. Have a beautiful weekend and remember to smile. If you don't smile, what are you doing? That's one for you. Infinite waters, diving deep once again. Stay well, stay healthy. Peace.